says
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
It starts recording.
Okay. One, two, three. Okay, I think we can start. Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, perfect. So hello, I'm Piotr BAJRASZEWSKI from 11-Bit Studios. And today I will tell you how to manage your game lifecycle. That's my day-to-day job. Like, I'm being business development manager, so I'm responsible for earning as much money as we can. To get your attention at the beginning, I will give you some scary numbers. Only in 2018, 9,300 games were added on Steam. That's really a lot. I have graphical representation for you. That's basically your game comparing to all the other games that we have on Steam. And that's basically the visibility you will get just releasing the game on Steam. However, the problem is even bigger. Because in total, 30,000 games were released on Steam. And that number actually excludes DLC, software, videos. So there's 30,000 games on Steam competing with you each day, each minute, each sale, each time that you want to get some visibility. So using the graphical representation from before, that's basically your game. The small red dot, it's you and your game on the moment of the launch. And actually, it's even getting worse than that, because in 2017, half of the total income on Steam was divided through 100 games. So it means that it's really hard to get that one slice of the pie. However, the good thing is that each year the pie is getting bigger and bigger. Actually, we are one of the few industries in the world that's really growing each year. And each year it is true that there are more players, they're spending more, etc., etc. Of course, for example, on Steam, some new users are only buying PlayerUnknown, but at some point they have to buy the next game. I hope so, at least. So that's it. That's you. That small dot. But only comparing numbers. In terms of sales, it's getting even harder to get the attention. So what to do not to if you don't want to die? That's the very crucial questions. And I guess most of you are indie developers and you want to release the game that will be successful. But sadly, it's not so easy. So I will tell you some tips that could be useful, I hope at least, with analyzing your game not only from the development point of view, which is crucial, of course, but sadly there are a lot of good games, really good, interesting indie games on Steam that sold like 1,000 copies. And that's super sad, and sadly that's true. Nobody, basically my job is to know all the games on Steam, but I have no time to browse through all the games that are releasing daily. It could be even 70, 100 games on Steam one day. So no one, even from the industry, has a time to follow all the games. And what about the poor customer? So yeah, I have grouped things that you can do in four main groups. So it's promoting your game. So basically the whole marketing thing. However, this is not a presentation about marketing, so I won't go into big details, but I will tell about it in a moment. Observing, so observing your data, observing everything that you can. Analyzing, so not only observe, but also to get some thoughts about it. And react. This is the most crucial thing. I will go into details in a moment. Don't worry, that's not all that I'm going to tell you. But it's important because sometimes people were like, we know we're on Titanic and we're heading to iceberg, but we didn't want to spend 3 more months to change something in our game. And then basically they're dead. Yeah, very optimistic. So marketing efforts, as I mentioned, I will just go quickly through them. Especially those from the business point of view that are important are, the order is kind of random, but okay. The first one is streams. So basically streams are super important for you. Not only to get visibility, but visibility is also important, but to see the reaction of the people to your game. And that is very, very, very important. And there are some developers that don't want to send the game to streamers. Oh no, but what will happen if someone will finish the game and nobody before the release and nobody will play it afterward? Honestly, if you are afraid of it, it will happen still on the day of the release, because on the day of the release, for sure, someone will finish your game on YouTube. So if you have a problem that if someone will see the end of your game, that's a bigger issue that you have to address before the release. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of visibility. Other things like hands-ons, so presenting your game to press directly, of course, good idea. Press tours, so packing with a laptop and going through the media is an excellent and actually kind of very effective and cost-saving activity that you can do. Events are also very important, but it's very easy to fall in a trap on going to all the events on the world. And basically you spend half of your time going through the events in everywhere, and it's fun. Everyone likes to drink beer and talk with intelligent people, but sometimes you need to limit the events as well. So preview, demo, and demo, that's also something that's case by case scenario. For example, I was always against the demos, releasing the demo to public, because actually there may be a scenario that people will play your game, the one that I mentioned about the streams, that in some games that can be actually a problem, that people will play your game for 3-4 hours and that will be enough for them. So you need to think if your game is the kind of the game that demo could really hook on the people. And actually that's something we did with Children of Morta. We knew we had an excellent game. Who from here know Children of Morta? Okay, cool. A lot of people, good. So basically, a lot of people now know Children of Morta, but we're a little bit afraid because wishlists were okay, but we knew we have an excellent game. So we wanted to boost the wishlist, boost the visibility. We couldn't make another press tour, another press review with it because basically the press already played that build. So we were like, everyone likes that demo. Let's release it on Steam. And actually we did it. We got the support from Steam as well, and that was one of the best pre-release activity that we had for Children of Morta. However, that's the game that demo worked perfectly. For example, for this War of Mine, it wouldn't work so well. Other things, dev updates, constantly talking to your community. Trailers, not trailer. That's super important as well, because it's not like you will make one excellent trailer, one excellent screenshot or art that will sell your game. Sadly, it's not working like that. You need to push a lot of content to the web to get the visibility, because you're competing with really crowded market. Last thing, it's most from the post-mortem perspective, because it's free weekend. That's something that we did. But we had this War of Mine in our back catalog, which makes it a little bit easier. We made a free weekend for this War of Mine 1 month before the release of Frostpunk, and basically everywhere we told that this War of Mine is free for the weekend because Frostpunk is coming, and actually that narration was very good. Free weekends are free, so everyone wants to play free games, so a lot of people are writing about it, and basically everywhere, here you have a screenshot from PC Gamer, everywhere everyone wrote like, with the IC survival game Frostpunk now just a few weeks away, yada yada. So basically, because the Frostpunk is coming, and if someone haven't heard before of Frostpunk, he was like, okay, I love this War of Mine. I'm not interested in free weekend because I own the game, but that Frostpunk is coming, what is it? And actually we had a huge bump on wishlist, huge bump on visibility. And that's important because, as I mentioned, observe is super important. You need to observe everything that you have. So wish list, page views. You can add Google Analytics on your Steam page. So basically you can see who is visiting your page. There is one problem with it. You cannot see the conversion. So you cannot see how many people actually bought your game. And that's super big problem, but that's another topic. When pre-orders are live, you can observe the pre-orders. You can observe your Steam community, so the number of the Steam community that you have. Marketing reach, views and reactions to your trailers. Social media fans and engagement, of course, this is super important. And Kickstarter, if you made a Kickstarter and it's successful or not, it's also a valuable lesson. And also it's important because half of the things here you can measure on the other games, on the competition as well. So you can see how everyone else is going and compare to them. Steam community is super important because Steam community is directly connected to wishlist. So basically the wishlist are always 6 times higher than Steam community. Not precisely always, but pretty much always. Marketing reach, social media, all that thing you can compare to other games and see if you're doing a good job. And analyzing it is super important because based on that you can understand what is working. So basically you are releasing trailer, art, GIF on Twitter, something on Reddit, etc., and you get a lot of likes. Okay, but then you can see how many page views actually it generated, page views on Steam. And based on the page views, you can see how many wish lists actually it generated. Because sometimes the trailer, for example, that went really wide, could be a false prophet. It could be like, okay, you have a game about two cute kids, and you have 2.5 million views. Awesome. Basically, you are ready for the release, and you will earn money. No, because it is possible that your trailer went broad, but only because it was cute. And actually, the people who watched the trailer, they are not gamers. They wanted to see something like that, and they shared it, but they don't want to play the game with that art style because they are not gamers. So you need to analyze that step. So views on Steam, and wishlist, because that's also a problem. Like if you overpromise in the trailer, people are going to the Steam wishlist, Steam page, and they're like, what is it? That's like crappy game that's completely not connected with the trailer I've seen. So they're not adding on a wish list. And then you need to analyze it and understand that it may be smart to change the strategy for the future trailers or whatever worked. Or maybe update your Steam page, because that's also sometimes a problem that developers are setting a Steam page early. They have reworked the UI, everything, graphic. It's completely 3 times better game, but still on Steam they have that crappy screenshots. And it's you have to remember it, because that Steam page is something that actually will sell your game. We can think that there are other sources, etc., but after all, for indie games on PC, Steam is the platform that is selling the game, and the page there is super important. Regarding the marketing reach, that's something I mentioned a little 3 minutes ago. It's a method of million cuts. So basically, it's never one thing that work. Sorry. You need to make a lot of things, really push a lot of things to the net, to the web, to reach the audience. And do not forget about the people who you already have, so the wishlisters that you have, maybe Kickstarters that you have, because those people are the promoters of your game. Those people are the one that will buy it on the day one, and they will help you make that snowball, the small snowball that will hopefully make a snowball effect that will push you to the main page on Steam, etc., etc. But you need to remember about them, and you need to push a lot of updates for them, etc., etc. Because otherwise they can be bored with your game, and you will lose someone who was genuinely, seriously interested in your game, and that's something that no one can afford. So the next thing that's super important is to listen to feedback and iterate. Do not be afraid of scrapping your game to zero, changing the mechanics totally. Frostpunk is very well popular right now, very popular game. We just released on consoles, etc., etc. But that was how Frostpunk looked at the beginning. And basically already in that prototype, because it was working prototype, we had the things like bears, that's bears in Polish, that were not working, so we dropped them. So even if you have a cool idea, you need to drop them if it's not working. That's how Frostpunk looked in the late prototype. There were some things that are familiar for people who played it here, but it still wasn't working. Some things were wrong, so we need to drop them. And actually, after iterations and iteration, you get to the final effect. And it's super important because if Frostpunk would look like that, I think we would sell like 5% of what we actually sold. And that's the final result of after patches and iterations that we have. So the testing and iterating is super crucial. We made a lot of focus tests always. We are inviting people to our studio. We pay them a small amount and give them pizza, and they are playing our games. And you need to listen to those people, because otherwise, if you're presenting the game to someone and he's, that's not working, I'm really confused with that mechanic, and your reaction cannot be, no, you are stupid. You just don't understand. Because if someone is confused with what you have, someone doesn't like something about your game, people are really not so different from each other. That's why all the marketing tests are working, etc., etc. So you need to iterate until you have really high score, and that's what we had with Frostpunk. Like, we made a last session 3 weeks before the release, 4 weeks, and the test from that, the Metacritic we had from Metacritic score we had from that test was 878, and that was exactly our meta user score after the release. So it's important to listen to the feedback, especially negative. So, talking about the data and the day one, that's the data that we had for Frostpunk for the day one. So after all the million cards that we did, etc., we had 380,000 wishlist on Steam, which is actually very good, amazingly good number, but it was not one bump. Actually, when you see the history of our wishlist, it's like step by step. Total social media coverage was enormous. More than 10 million views of videos, but once again, it was some of the videos. It was not one trailer, one gameplay material that made the job. And 100,000 members of Steam community, and 900 plus articles in major media. That's also important because sadly, it's not like anymore. It's not like you have the article on IGN and that's it. That's make feel you safe. And comparing it to this War of Mine, it's super strange actually, because this War of Mine had a really low wish list, less than 50,000 wish list. But the truth is that this War of Mine didn't have successful launch as Frostpunk, which may seem strange right now because this War of Mine is a well-known game, but it was years and years of hard work to sell more and more units of this War of Mine. It was not one, it wasn't only the release. And actually back in 2014, the wishlist was not working so well as it is right now. So all the data and you can analyze them. You can think whatever you can. You can postpone. We postponed Frostpunk like 4 times. We postponed Children of Morta officially 3 times, non-officially, I don't know, 25. And then came the release day of Frostpunk. And we have sold 250,000 copies in first 66 hours, which is a great score, but not bad. It is a great score. The thing is that it was not a surprise. We had that wish list, and we knew that it's going to be really, really big. So, of course, there is no like algorithm that can calculate based on wish list how many copies you will actually sell. However, if you have really low wish list, you have to prepare for that your game can fail, and maybe it's a time to postpone it. So yeah, moving forward, that's us. We went drunk after the release of Frostpunk, of course. That's our old studio. And Frostpunk was bigger success than this War of Mine. That's something that's super crucial from the post-mortem point of view, because people actually were saying us that, okay, this War of Mine was a nice stand, but there is no way you will deliver the same level of sales with the next game. Luckily, they were wrong, but it gave me a lot of unslept nights. Streams were super high. We were somewhere between PUBG and Hearthstone, which is good. But once again, the important thing is that it was not one streamer. It was dozens of streamers streaming our game. So you have to send the keys wide to the streamers. You have to go wide. You can't be shy with your game. We had a lot of articles, memes. So definitely it was a successful release when you have a lot of memes. But it was all only the beginning, and that's super important because still a lot of players still want to play Frostpunk. They are still waiting for higher discounts. They still don't know about Frostpunk. It was a huge release, but still there are a lot of people that never heard of Frostpunk, that never heard of This War of Mine, that never heard of Moonlighter. So there are a lot of people that wants to play Frostpunk or This War of Mine. And it's important because comparing to This War of Mine, Frostpunk had an amazing 13 days after the release. It made 4 times more money than Frostpunk did. Than This War of Mine did. But the thing is that This War of Mine, the revenue for This War of Mine, the first year, so not even the first month, but first year of This War of Mine was responsible only for 24 player base of This War of Mine. So this is how it looked for This War of Mine. The dark blue column is 3 years revenue, and 3 years of revenue of This War of Mine comparing to the first 2 weeks, it was really, really small. So it's important not to underestimate the post-released sales. That's common. That's common with a lot of indie developers. Sadly, they are going to they are depreciating the game too early. Like, okay, it went good. We sold 50,000 units in the first week, but now it's super slow. So we need to go minus 33 because everyone already bought the game. No, there are a lot of people that never heard of your game still, so the next sale should be low because this is the next shot of visibility for you. But also, you cannot be greedy because sometimes also some people think that they have a game, a diamond, and they don't want to to depreciate its value, so they will never go lower than 25%. And at some point, their game is not selling at all. People are deleting it from the wishlist because they were waiting for a discount and they were waiting for 1 year and nothing happened. So it's super important. There is a page called SteamDB, Steam Database, where you can track actually all each game that's on Steam, the history of the discounts they made. And it's super useful because you can learn out of someone else's mistakes. I'm trying to speed up. Okay, we have 7 minutes. So that's another game from our publishing portfolio, BitCop. We released that game 3 years ago. And it wasn't a huge success at the beginning, but we didn't panic. We made a plan and just monetized the game calmly and steadily. And after 4 months, we had covered the total development cost. After 6 months, we covered the total cost of the game. Right now, the game is on mobile, it's on consoles, so we are making a lot out of it. But if we would panic at the beginning, we could basically kill all the revenue streams that we have right now. So heading to the end, what you can do with your game post-release from the BizDev perspective, it depends on the situation that you are, how the day one went. So I will tell basically what we did with all of our games, basically. So the first thing is coupons, but coupons works perfectly on Steam, but you need to have another game to coupon with, and that's the problem. Because if you have like 3 million owners of some game, you can send the discount coupons to them, and then you have the pop-up on Steam, and it's working very well. But that one is limited to the user base that you have. But the other thing that's working perfectly, and you can do it if you have a user base or not, is bundles, especially if you have a DLC. People tend to spend more if they discover your game finally, and they are super excited about screenshot and they want to buy it, and the trailer, etc. They want to buy it, and they see the complete edition, and it's on discount, for example. Everything is on the discount. Actually, they tend to buy the complete edition. So it's important to bundle the games with the DLC, bundle the games with the art book, to give the players chance to actually buy more from you at a good price. And that's super important. For example, for this word of mine, 33%, so 1/3 of the people are buying this word of mine complete bundle, complete edition bundle, which is way more expensive than the base game. But they want to have the full experience. They love the idea of the game. They want to play the whole of it, so we need to offer it to them. Dedicated promos, of course, all the promos on Steam. The thing here to remember is not to forget about the other stores, because on Steam you have cooldown. You cannot discount the game more often than 2 months, something like that. So basically, in the meantime, you can use the other stores, Fanatical, Greenman Gaming, GOG.com, Humble Store, etc., to make some additional things with your game. DLC free updates, that's something that we are doing a lot. Basically, for all of our games, we are releasing the free updates at least for 1 year after the release. And it's working perfectly because it gives you the justification to make a promo to have a spot on Steam, to gather some attention, to basically to give the second life to your game. And we did it with all of our games. For Moonlighter, we had a roadmap of the free updates. For Frostpunk, we were releasing a lot of free updates after the release because we've seen what the players wanted, and we wanted to give it for free. And actually, at the end, players were like, "Finally, give me some paid content. I want to pay you some more money." So we did it, and we have the season pass for Frostpunk. We have season pass for This War of Mine. And both of them are working very good. So you need to, you cannot be too greedy with it. You cannot have a paid DLC on day one because that's just unfair. But when you give the players some free content at the beginning and then offer something totally unique at the DLC, that can really work well. New languages, that's almost the end, don't worry. New languages, especially Chinese, that's super important because China is the second biggest market on Steam right now. And okay, some things like Polish, French, Italian are important, but Chinese is super crucial. Basically, we started with This War of Mine without Chinese language, and I think it was the biggest mistake ever. We have added that language 1.5 years later, and it was very profitable. In terms of return of the investment, I think it was, 5 minutes. But actually last year, 25% of the revenue from This War of Mine came from China. China is really big market, and you cannot underestimate it. And just pretend that it does not exist. It's the second language on Steam after English. New platforms. Once again, This War of Mine generated more revenue this first quarter this year than first quarter last year. And in general, the game is 5 years old, and we are really still selling a lot of units and earning a lot. But we are on all the consoles, PS4, Xbox, Switch. We are on mobile. So you need to reach out. If you have a good product, you need to reach out and give it to the players everywhere you can. And last thing, new business opportunities. Don't be afraid of going with things like Xbox Game Pass, Humble Monthly, maybe even Epic Giveaway. Things like, that was not a commercial of anything, but don't be afraid of going with some bigger initiatives because they are giving you visibility, and all the indie developers, even the AA, the premium indie titles, are struggling for the visibility, and those business opportunities are giving you perfect visibility for that game, for your next games, for DLCs, for anywhere, everything you can imagine. Okay, so that's the last thing. Only thing that I recommended tools, Steam Spy, SteamDB. Use it, analyze it, and that's the perfect source of information. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or anything, you can write me an email always. Right on time, yeah, I was really rushing at the end. Sure, I'm giving you back your microphone.